Okay, so one of the things that we talked about prior to coming on here was you've been doing a lot of hiring, which
Mhm.
is interesting in this time. I mean, I think hiring is always tough, whether you're in business, whether you're a legal firm. But some of the things you've been doing is interviewing a lot of folks, and you've been finding out things that you may or may not have known about the
Yeah.
industry or some of your peers, competitors. And
Mhm.
I thought that was super interesting. So, if you want to get into that a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because I've been blessed with having people work for me for a very long time. So I don't have to hire often, which is really nice. And so most of the people that work for me have been with me for more than 10 years. And so I haven't dipped my toe really into the job market in a while for bringing on new staff. And so we just recently had to do it this past summer or this fall. And so we put it out for a paralegal with X amount of experience. We got about 40, 50 different applicants, and we interviewed about 10 of them. And the majority of them came from some of my bigger competitors here in Colorado. And I got to tell you, it was so eye opening and so disturbing.
oh, wow.
It mostly comes down to these people are so overwhelmed with caseloads and they just can't keep their head above water. So we interviewed one litigation paralegal. She had been at this particular firm for, I think it was 8 or 9 months. And what she said is, I was the one with the longest experience. They have like a 6 month turnover. They can't keep people. And they have everything siloed in these big firms. This is what I kind of learned. And I've been, like I said, I haven't talked to anybody else like about this stuff in a long time. And they silo everything in order to try to keep a production level going, almost like a factory. And what seems to be happening, or at least literally paralegal after paralegal after paralegal that we interviewed from these big firms, is there is no accountability. So the pre-litigation department, so the kind of the claims part of the case, where you're just getting everything together, you're trying to make sure your client's doing well, you're getting the right kind of treatment, care, that kind of stuff. Uh, that side of the house in these big firms literally isn't collecting shit, isn't doing anything, is not following up with anybody. So they're suing in cases where they haven't even collected the medical records to see what's even wrong with the client.
Oh, wow.
And so what that means is they don't even know what they're suing for. They don't even know what's wrong with their client. Or if they do have a basic idea of what's going on, they're also missing so many records that they're not actually presenting the strongest part of the case, right? Before I ever sue, all those ducks are in a row. And we were having this interview in this room. I would interview them first one on one, and then I'd bring in the rest of the firm to interview them. And myself and the other attorneys that work in my firm we were horrified by what we were hearing because literally it started to give me anxiety. I have no anxiety in my life.
Right,
And
right.
I started to feel deeply anxious for all these paralegals. Like I felt like I had showed up at a pound and I just wanted to adopt all of them, right? Because I just
Wow.
felt terrible. Like, oh, I need to take you in and
Right,
show you how the
right,
law is actually practiced, right?
right.
And we just learn so many horror stories. And it would be one thing if it was isolated just this one firm. We'd happen to be interviewing a couple people from there. It was over and over again from some of these bigger firms, and to the point where they once again they're diminishing the value of every case that's out there. I we do good cases, we do strong cases, we our value of our cases. We work as hard as we possibly can, but I'm only settling, maybe 100 cases a year. These people are settling thousands. So they're pushing the value of every case. If you multiply them times all the different firms that are doing things wrong,
Right.
then it's affecting the value of everybody's case out there. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I had from interviewing all these paralegals is that, oh my God, I mean, like they're screwing everybody,
Right.
including themselves, by not running good procedures, not hiring long-term good talent. And it's just a disaster. And I'm not saying we're perfect by any stretch of imagination, but we're not that fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad.
So,
Yeah.